guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Aliyet, and in this video I'm going to go ahead and share some strategies and tips that you should do and things that I'm planning on doing to make 2023 my best year yet. 2022 was definitely probably one of my best years yet. Yes, I did face a lot of trials and tribulations, but I managed to grow as a person and I managed to accomplish, if not all, but most of my goals in 2022 just by believing in my vision, believing in my manifestations, and believing in myself. I was able to interview at medical schools. I finally passed my medical school entrance exam. I got accepted to medical school. I got my first publication, and I was able to achieve all these goals that I set out for myself in the beginning of 2022 just by believing in myself and putting actions to my goals. So the first thing that I want you to do is I really want you to let go of the person that you used to be. If you really didn't like the person that you were in 2022, I want you to let go of that type of person, and I want you to create a new version of yourself. And as you're creating this new version of yourself, I want you to be delusional, okay? I want you to be delusional, be delusional, be delusional. What I mean by being delusional is I want you to think of the ideal person that you want to be, the best version of yourself, all the things that you want to accomplish in 2023. And I just really want you to take a sheet of paper and I want you to write down, kind of envision yourself as if it's December 31st, 2023, as if the year has already gone by. And I want you to take a sheet of paper and do a self-reflection and talk in the present moment of all the things that you've already accomplished in this year. And I want you to be delusional with it. As you're writing down all the things that you accomplished, all the things that you want, I want you to be, I don't like the word unrealistic because a lot of people are like, oh, that's so unrealistic. Like, for example, on my sheet of paper, I probably say that I made, 6 figures. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's so unrealistic. But that's unrealistic for them. And honestly, nothing about life is realistic, if I'm being honest with you. In life, it's all about being delusional. And I'm a really big believer, and people don't really like the word delusional because delusion is associated with a negative connotation. Like if you do a quick Google search on the word delusional, you'll probably see on Google something that says like a false belief without any evidence. But if you really look at life is about being delusional. Like when we go to bed every single night, like we know that tomorrow isn't guaranteed, but we continue to make plans like with our friends on Friday or our friends on like the next day, right? And we go to sleep and we're being delusional, thinking that we're gonna wake up the next morning, right? We have this delusion. Like no one goes to bed thinking like, oh my God, I'm not gonna wake up the next day, right? We go to bed thinking like, oh, I'm gonna wake up the next day and, go about my day. And so we go to sleep and then we wake up the next day. But we all know that tomorrow is never promised. And so I feel like that same delusion that we have when it comes to kind of waking up the next day with going to bed, we should also be able to apply that to our goals. So I'm going to tell a personal story of me kind of being delusional all 2022. I'll definitely say that I was pretty delusional with everything of all my goals. And I managed to make that delusion realistic. Of course, I feel like I was my most delusional self, and definitely in 2023, I really want to be that. But a personal story I want to tell you is that, as you guys know, I'm currently in the medical school application process. So I'm currently applying to medical school, and in the fall, I'll be attending medical school, which has been my dream since I was little. And as I was going through my application process, when I was creating my medical school list, I was putting, I guess, quote unquote, all the top schools, right? We all know, I don't really like that word top, but like top schools, highly ranked schools. I don't really like rankings and all that because you guys already know I'm a big believer in it's not about where you go, it's about what you do there. That's like my big belief. But just for the story purpose, I'm gonna say top schools. So I was applying to all these top schools, and I remember showing my, quote unquote friend my medical school list. And I remember him telling me, wow, Aaliyah, you should be realistic. A lot of the schools that you're applying to, those are out of reach. Your scores, aren't quote unquote there. You shouldn't apply to those schools. Like, be more realistic with your goals. And of course, hearing that, I was like, what do you mean? Like, it might have been out of reach for you, but for me, like, I'm delusional. I believe that, I don't want to say no. I want the school to say no to me. So I like to shoot my shot with everything. And so I kept those top medical schools on my list. And I cannot emphasize this enough. All the schools that I interviewed at so far have been only at the top schools that my friend told me that I should remove from my list. Those were the only schools that actually gave me interview invites, and those are the schools that some of them that I actually hold acceptance to. And all the schools that he told me to be realistic, where my stats were, you know, matching their stats, none of them invited me so far to an interview. It was only the top schools that were out of my reach, and I was so delusional, right? And I was like, you know what, I feel like I have a chance that I applied to it. And I just look back, imagine if I didn't apply to those top schools. One, I would not have interviewed at any medical schools to this point, and number two, I would not be holding any acceptances, right? And so it was me being delusional, and that's why I like to tell people, just shoot your shot and be delusional, because you just never know what could happen. So I want you to let go of the person that you used to be. I want you to take out a sheet of paper, and I want you to write as if it's in the present moment, as if it's happening, the type of life that you're currently living here in 2023. What type of car are you driving? Right? And be delusional with it. If you're saying you're driving a Rolls Royce, put that down on the sheet of paper, because you just never know what could happen. But also, it doesn't hurt to add that on the paper. It doesn't hurt to believe it, like to have that manifestation. And what's so great about, you know, this manifestation that you're doing is that you don't have to believe in it right away. But I feel like there's something powerful about putting it down, your goals, on a sheet of paper. I feel like there's something powerful, because once you write it down, you're already putting it out there. You know what I mean? You're already putting it out to the universe that this is what's gonna happen. So once you write down all the, you know, the life that you're living on that sheet of paper, the next thing that I want you to do is that I want you to take out a journal, and I want you to write down all your goals for 2023 that's gonna help you achieve that life. So for example, let's say your goal in 2023 is to finally apply to medical school, right? So you're gonna put on your goals list applying to medical school. But then also I want you to be specific. What are the steps? You're gonna write down the steps under that goal that you're gonna take to get you to apply to medical school. So maybe it is, I'm gonna take my medical school entrance exam. And I'm gonna pass it. How am I gonna pass the medical school entrance exam? I'm gonna study for X amount of Z, maybe 8 hours a day, 5 days out of the week, right? Take a day off. I'm going to study flashcards. I'm gonna use this website. I'm gonna ask for help, blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna get good grades in my classes. How are you gonna get good grades in your class? I'm going to go to office hours. I'm gonna study on time. I'm gonna actually study for my exams. I'm going to study 7 days out of the week, X, Y, and Z, right? So I want you to write down all those things. Maybe your goal is, I wanna start a YouTube channel. You guys kind of get the gist, you guys get the point. But basically, you're gonna write down all your goals. And once again, I don't really care if your goals, once again, are unrealistic, because once again, there is nothing really realistic about life in general, so your goals can be unrealistic, okay? Because if you really think about it, the life that you're living was probably something that you saw that was very unrealistic for you. For example, right, like my current life that I'm living, like working at my job, doing my YouTube channel, this was something that I found that was very unrealistic. I was like, there's no way, if you asked me 10 years ago, that I would tell you that I have a YouTube channel now, that I'm working at my current job, that I'm going to medical school. I probably would have been like, oh, that sounds so out of reach. That sounds so unrealistic. But here I am today doing that, right? So nothing is really realistic about life. So your goals, just put it down on a sheet of paper. As you're writing down these goals and that you want to achieve in 2023, I really want you to keep those goals to yourself. And what I mean by keeping those goals to yourself, don't tell people what your dreams and your goals are. And the reason why I say this is because most of the time, like 80% of the time, if you tell somebody your dream or your goals, you will be met with resistance. And it's not because that person is a hater. 50% of the time, it's because the person is a hater. That's my belief. But it could just be, most of the time, it's because that person that you're telling, if it's a close friend, a close family member, whatever, they really just want the best for you, and they really want, right? They want the best for you. They don't want you to get your feelings hurt. They don't want anything negative, you know, to happen to you. They're just trying to protect you, and that's why most of the time, you know, you're met with resistance when you tell people like the goals that you're trying to achieve. But also one of the main reasons why I'm saying to keep your goals to yourself is that because the moment that you tell someone what you're trying to achieve, and you're met with that resistance, you don't get that encouragement you were looking for, it starts to plant doubt in your mind. And so whenever you have like a setback, you immediately think that person was right. You immediately go to that thing like, oh my God, that person was right. I knew I couldn't do that. Rather, when you keep a dream to yourself and you have a goal and you didn't achieve it the first time, you're like, oh, okay, like that didn't work out. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try again and try again. I remember when I wanted to, start my YouTube channel. I was like, oh, I really want a YouTube channel so bad, yada, 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 X, Y, and Z. I had no doubt, but I was so excited about starting my YouTube channel that I remember telling my friends like, oh my God, I'm having a YouTube channel. I'm gonna start a YouTube channel and I'm so excited for it. And I remember my friend telling me, it's really hard to start a YouTube channel. You're not gonna blow up the first video. It's really hard to get an audience. YouTube's the hardest thing to grow. Are you sure you want a YouTube channel? Blah, blah. I was like met with all this resistance. But once again, like I told you guys, I like to do things anyways, despite, people telling me not to do it, because I want to see for myself if I'm capable of doing it. And I don't like living my life with regret, saying like, oh, I wish I tried this, right? I want to be able to say, okay, I tried it and then it didn't quote unquote work out, right? And so I remember posting my first, YouTube video and I only got like 50 views. And I was like, oh, okay, it's fine. And then I posted another one and then I got low views again. I was like, oh, maybe she is right. It is hard to grow on YouTube. I should give up blah, 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 XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. But it was actually my little sister who encouraged me. She said, Aaliyah, keep going, keep going. And of course, you guys too, seeing all your comments. That kind of kept me going to the point where I was like, you know what, my time is coming. I know my time is coming. Like that's my motto, right? My time is coming. There's gonna be a point where I'm going to get more subscribers and more people are going to watch my videos. Like I said it to myself, my time is coming. And I kept going. But yeah, sometimes when, results don't happen or, I get low views, I tend to think back to what my friend told me and I tend to like doubt myself. And I don't really like that type of doubt. And so I always regret telling my friend, my goals. I wish I was like, damn, I wish I just kept it to myself. Then I would never have these self-doubts. And that's why I say, keep your goals and your dreams private to yourself until, you accomplish those goals. Once you accomplish it, once you, got the job, once you do that, then go ahead and tell people. But as you're working on it, try to keep it to yourself. After you write down all your goals on a sheet of paper, now what I want you to do is I want you to create a vision board, okay? And what I mean by a vision board, I am a big believer in if you can see it, you can achieve it. And that's the importance of having a vision board. And you're gonna go ahead and create a vision board. And on top of that, I want you to create that vision, make that vision board your computer screensaver, your phone screensaver. I want you to print it out, paste it on your wall in your room. I want it to be in a place where every single day that you're constantly seeing it. And how I make my vision board is that I just go on Pinterest and I download a bunch of pictures. So for example, what if one of my dreams is to be more financially secure or financially independent or smart with my money? I would look up money on Pinterest and then go ahead and add it to, maybe you can use Canva or PowerPoint. I personally enjoy using PowerPoint. I'm gonna go ahead and add it to PowerPoint. I'm gonna put some motivational quotes. Maybe, one of my goals is to care less about what people think, to be more cringy, right? I'm going to look up quotes that represents caring less about what people think. Maybe my goal is to pass all my classes in medical school, look up things related to medicine. And so I'm gonna go ahead and add it to my vision board, make it look cute, make it look nice. And then I'm going to go ahead and make it my screensaver on my phone, make it my screensaver on my laptop, make it something where I'm able to see it and be reminded of it every single day of something that I am working towards. So after all of that, we just finished doing our vision board, manifesting our dream life, and we did goal settings, okay? And so I feel like when you watch all these like manifestation videos on like TikTok and like YouTube, all they basically tell you is like, oh, write down your dreams and goals and then everything's gonna happen. But I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, but that is basically not how real life works, and that's not what's going to happen. You writing down your goals on a sheet of paper with no action isn't going to take you to that goal, okay? Nothing's going to happen for you. You're going to be stuck in the same position, if not in a worse position, because you're going to be so upset that you're like, oh my God, why is none of this things like happening for me? Why isn't anything good happening for me? Why aren't my goals coming true? And it's because you didn't put any actions towards those goals. And so the next thing that you're going to do, which we basically did in our goal setting, is you're going to start putting actions to your goals. If your goal was to, work out 5 times a week, you're going to get that gym. You're going to go ahead and buy a gym membership. You're going to go ahead and show up to the gym 5 times a week. Put that alarm clock at 6 a.m. You're going to plan the schedule of when you're going to go to the gym. If your goal is to do better in your classes, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and show up to class. You're going to listen in class. You're going to pay attention. If you needed help, you're going to go to office hours. You're going to actually study so that you're able to accomplish your goal of performing well in your class and getting those good grades. And so what I found very helpful for me to do is writing down simple steps for me to take to allow me to, achieve those goals. And you guys know me, I'm a Virgo, so we are big planners, but I find it very helpful that whenever I'm achieving a goal, whenever I lose sight of what to do, or if I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do next, I'm lost, I don't know how to start this, being able to open my journal and look at the steps that I already wrote in the beginning of the year of goals that I wanted to achieve and the things I'm supposed to do to help me achieve that goal, it really reminds me of the track that I'm supposed to stay on. It reminds me of the things I'm supposed to do. So for example, let's say my goal was that I want to be more financially smart, and I wrote in my journal, oh, I'm going to budget my money more, I'm going to save my money more, I'm gonna instead of eating out all the time, I'm going to try to eat more at home, I'm going to do thrifting instead of just going to the retail store, I'm going to do all those steps. And so writing those things down allows me to remember about it. Okay, Leah, we're supposed to be budgeting monthly. Okay, let me start budgeting monthly. It just kind of reminds me of the steps I'm supposed to take to help me achieve my goal of being financially smarter with my money. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I want you to know that your dreams are possible. You are able to achieve anything that you set your mind to, okay? Nothing is too unrealistic. You are not being delusional. Be your delusional self this 2023, because there are so many people who don't even have half as much as talent are achieving the same dreams that you want just because they believe in yourself. And now it's time for you to take a chance on yourself. It's time for you to bet on yourself, because what do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose by betting on yourself. So it's time for you to idolize yourself and start being the best version of yourself and start living your dream life. Like, you deserve to live your dream life. And in 2023, by just doing these actions and actually putting actions towards your manifestations, towards your goals, I promise you, you'll be able to, get one step closer to living your dream life. And so I hope 2023 goes amazing for you all, and I'll see you next video. Bye.
Shorty said she coming with a back, with a gun, with a gun, coming with a back, with a gun, with a gun, coming with a back, with a gun, with a gun, coming with a back, with a shorty said